Hey there, back to the drawing board here, and now I'm going to recreate that tic-tac-toe game. This time, instead of using buttons, I'm going to use labels, and you're going to see why. Well, so let me name this new form, tic-tac-toe. I'm recreating the form from scratch, but I'm going to reuse all the code I used before. And because of that, I'm going to create labels, but I'm going to name them buttons. This is just a hack because I really don't want to rewrite all of it. We reacted to buttons before, we're going to react to labels now. Labels, even though they are supposed to be static and just show some information to the user, you can change their caption in real time, at runtime. You can have them change their back color, their fore color, and you can do all of that reacting to user interaction, both click or mouse hover, and you're going to see how I'm going to deal with that. Well, first, let me make a square label here, 80 by 80, just like the buttons we had before. Let me have an X here just to see how this is going to look. Well, so far it looks terrible. Let's make this X centered. That's already better. And let's make these have a back color that's, I don't know, bluer. Let's make it look good like this. Okay, I like it. And we can also have a new font. We could do that for buttons too, but I forgot to do it, so let's do it here now. To enter a new font for a control, you enter its file name, the font file. Between the two stars here in the middle, you can enter, for example, monospace or any other font attribute that QB64 allows. You can check QB64's wiki to know more about that. Or you can just leave it blank, an empty space between two stars. And now here I'm going to choose the size of the font. The size is in pixels because QB64 doesn't work with points. I'm going to use cyberbit.ttf, which is the font that comes with QB64. You see that we have a red sign here indicating that the property value was not accepted because I didn't enter the full syntax. Let me finish that with, I don't know, a size of 32 maybe. I could grow that. 48 seems fine. So here we have this button. I'm going to copy it over, Control-C, Control-V, Control-V again, so I can now align these. Align to top, distribute horizontally. Okay, let me copy this group now. Control-C, Control-V, Control-V once again. And now I should just distribute them vertically. The process is just the same actually, because aligning controls is the same procedure for every type of control, really. Now let me center this horizontally and center this vertically, because when I do these center commands with a group of controls, they all go together as only one big control. Fine, looks good. Let me erase these captions. They're gonna be empty at start. And let me name these controls. Even though they are labels, I'm going to name them as buttons because I don't want to rewrite all my code that I already have ready waiting for me. So this is going to be called button 1, button 2, button 3, button 4, button 5, button 6, button 7, button 8, button 9. This should do it. What we are going to do later on, let me memorize this value here. Let me fire a notepad. So we're gonna have a blue color of 127, 170, 255. That's the RGB code for my standard square. And then we're going to save this, Tic Tac Toe 2, Exit to QB64. Yes, please. Okay, here's my new program. All the events are empty. My labels are called buttons just for convenience. And I still have my previous Tic Tac Toe game I wrote here. I'm just going to copy these things over to the new one, just because I'm lazy. I admit that. And why recreate the wheel if it's already rolling? Okay, here we go with my shared variable. Let's go back to Tic Tac Toe. There's a click event I'm going to copy with no changes to my new program here. And I also created a check victory subprocedure here, which I'm going to copy, which I'm going to copy from here, not from the there. Okay, check victory. And there's nothing else I need from my previous program. Am I doing it right? I'm confused. Okay, so this is my new program called Tic Tac Toe 2. It uses the same code as before. I just need to check if the control is a label and not a button. The rest of it is just fine. Let me give it a run and see if it works without changes, just the way it is. Running. Here we are. Click, 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 click. Oh, there's a winner. Okay, this is fine so far. I forgot to add a centered window property to my form. This is a form file. You can edit it manually if you want to. I could load it again on the editor, but I'm just gonna do a quick edit here. Let me say that for my form, the centered window property is going to be set to true now. Let me run, see if that applied properly. Creating executable. Bam, 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 bam. Starting program. Okay, now my window is centered, but this is still very much, I won, I didn't even pay attention to that. This is still very much the same game, but because I want it to look a little better, we're going to use the MouseEnter event to add a bit of a hover effect to these labels, which is gonna look nice. Also, I'm going to make these labels have a different color from now on. Well, let's see. I want my labels to look red when it's an X and green when it's an O. So if this turn is 1, then I'm going to change the same things as before. But now, instead of just adding an X to the label, I'm going to make this control back color be green. RGB 32, red 0, green 200, blue. Oh no, this is for the O. For the X, I want it to be red. No green, no blue. Let's see if that works already. So when I click a button, if it's player 1, it's going to be colored red. If it's player 2, it's going to be colored green. Let's check it. Aha, it already works. That's already much better. I just won here. Okay. Now, besides that, let's use the MouseEnter event. Let me copy the control code here for the click. And I'm going to replace the MouseEnter because I only want to have my code react to labels as well. So I'm going to tell QB64 to change the control back color every time we enter the mouse on a controls area. This is what the MouseEnter event does. It reacts every time the mouse enters a control area. So if my mouse enters a label and this label is still 0 because remember zero control. The zero value indicates that a control hasn't been clicked yet. We're going to change this control's back color to a darker shade. I saved my blue setting here, my blue color. So when I enter a button, a label, it's going to be colored same shade of red, same shade of green, but a darker shade of blue. Okay. The mouse leave event is going to be triggered when the mouse leaves the control area. I could react to each control individually, but I want to react to all label controls. So I'm going to reuse the code and this time restore the color. Let's see how that hover effect goes. Remember, mouse enter when the mouse enters the control area, mouse leave when the mouse leaves the control area, which can be used to emulate a hover effect. The color difference is very small. It's even ugly. Let's make red darker too. Let's say 80. Oh, I forgot. QB64 has a color mixer as well. Let me do this like this. I think it's nice. This is the regular blue. Let me save, compile. Let's see how that goes. And now it should have a hover effect that's more noticeable. Okay, when I hover my labels now, they have this cool hover effect. When I click, they win a color, either red or green based on which player's turn this is. I think that black over green looks fine, but black over red is a bit too dark. Let me go back to code now and say that whenever I change a control's back color to red because it's an X, I also want to change its fore color to white. That's full RGB values. Let's run this to see how it looks right now. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, starting my program. I like it much better now. I won. Good. Okay. I could also add code to make the computer have its own turn and play automatically and choose randomly a code. Let's do that. So whenever we check victory, nah, I don't want to do that right now. It's enough. Okay, so you guys can see the hover effect I created using the mouse enter and mouse leave effect events. Mouse enter, mouse leave, and the clicking event now changes the back color and the fore color of my labels. Okay, this is a little bit more advanced techniques because I'm now using more events, and there's still a lot more to show. I'm going to show it to you on subsequent videos. Thank you for watching again. Bye-bye.